Good evening, class. My name is Carlton Johnson. I'm here tonight to talk to you about leadership. Leadership is something that we all, one time or another, have participated in. But from a biblical perspective, let me remind you of what God said in Genesis. He said that He's given man dominion over everything on the earth, over the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, of all the cattle and animals and everything that creeps upon the earth. That dominion is leadership. So from this day forward, I want you to think of yourself as a leader. And you need to act accordingly. What I mean by accordingly is that realize the greatness that's within you and start utilizing it. If you're not already leading in some capacity, seek out leadership opportunities. What is leadership? I kind of just explained it there. Leadership is being out front and leading situations and people in ways for the betterment of the situation or the people themselves. That's a definition of leadership that most leaders would stand by. Whether good or bad, leadership is influence. One way or another, you influence people or situations to the outcome that you see for the betterment of all. That's leadership. And when we look at it in a negative context, it's usually leadership to the betterment of the individual that's doing the leading. Good leadership will endure, while bad leadership tends to only self-serve the moment. The seed of leadership is integrity. Integrity is transparent, they true, and they seek to do good and no harm. Always taking care of the individuals that they're responsible to. Whereas in contrast to bad leadership, again, is self-serving, and all they cares about is the moment. I have had and studied several books on leadership. Dr. Miles Monroe, one of my mentors, he's produced many books on leadership, but the one that I've enjoyed the most is The Spirit of Leadership. He details in it that leadership has a different spirit, has a spirit to it. And you'll know it full well when an individual has that spirit within them. Another author that I follow is John C. Maxwell. He says that leadership can be taught, and it can be. I agree with him wholeheartedly. There are lots of books on leadership that's out there and that's available for us all to read and improve in our leadership capacity. Another author that I follow is Mike Murdock. He's tied leadership to wisdom. He says wisdom is leadership. So you might want to talk with Mike Murdock. Or read his book, not talk with him. I'm sorry about that, but maybe talk with him. You never know, you might meet him. And then I look toward the Holy Bible for leadership. I look toward Jesus and Paul and all the patriarchs and stuff and their leadership styles and what they did and how they stood up. Sometimes leadership will unfold and you be in a fearful situation, but the difference in that, in fearfulness and moving on, is courage. It's quite a few times that in the Bible the Lord told Joshua to be of good courage. He had his back, because we all fear sometime. But when you are doing something for the betterment of humanity or your family, you have to move on in spite of those fears. Good leadership always seeks the advancement of society. Always seeks the advancement of it. we live by a code in the United Methodists of do no harm, and that's good leadership because the doctors have a similar oath to that fact also. Do no harm. When you can go through life and do no harm, ultimately you will do good in your endeavors. So let me close. Again, I want to sit on the seat of integrity with leadership. Integrity is something that you cannot waver in. Your integrity must stand forth. Integrity is doing right when it goes even against your inner feelings. Just doing what's right toward the situation and toward those whom you're dealing with. When you enter into transactions in a leadership mode, a friend of mine used to say, an arm's length transaction is integrity. In other words, if you can go home and tell your mama about something that you're doing, then that usually is a good gauge if you're doing something good and in the right way. So from this point on, take leadership, invest in it, and know that you were designed and built for it. Thank you. Good night.